All right, we're back. We're with Dr. David Calaber. He's a chiropractor at Central Square. His phone number there is 609-653-9501. If you go in, when you see the lady in the back office, ask Alice, because she may know. All right. So what was, we had the little comment off the air about the coaches being a problem.
Yeah, coaches, we find that sometimes coaches, when you tell a student or a parent even, that they need to either take time off and rest the body, or they have this problem that needs this kind of care, or they might have to miss a practice or two. Sometimes the coaches or the parents are the problem, and the coach will turn around and actually try and say that, well, the doctor doesn't know what they're talking about, or I don't believe in chiropractic.
Right.
And and they'll make some kind of sly comment, or they'll make their own little comments, or then they'll even make the kid feel bad, or the parents, and say, well, if they don't do this, then they're going to lose their spot. They're not going to be playing as much, or whatever. And there's this I don't know what you call it, arrogance of the coaches, or ignorance even, that they'll just say, it's almost like I give an instruction, and they pretty much try and disregard it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, who are you? I mean, no offense, you're a coach. When you're dealing with something like health care or health related, right, that's my department, unless you have that degree, yeah, or you have something. And if you have an issue with it, then call me and talk to me about it. Yeah. Let's have a conversation. Don't go behind my back with your ego and try and convince the parents or make the kid feel bad that they're not going to perform, or they're not going to play, or they're going to lose their spot, or whatever. Yeah. That's dangerous. It's not only dangerous, but it's stupid, and they have no right to do that. It's like, just listen. If you have to question it, that's fine. I don't mind questions. I don't mind why. I don't mind what's the rationale for this. Yeah. Why are you recommending this? That's perfectly fine. To me, that's what should happen. Yeah. Not, I don't believe in chiropractic. He doesn't know what he's talking about. You don't. Yeah, go in there and play. Yeah. Or you're not gonna play for the next 5 meets or whatever. Yeah. I see that with swimming coaches. I see that with football coaches, baseball and soccer, and crew. Crew are the worst too.
Yeah, crew is tough.
You get, that is a physically demanding sport. Yeah. The practices, they're up at the butt crack of dawn, and they're out early in weather, and they're just, they're doing these erging and rowing. It's a very physically demanding sport, and God forbid you have to miss a couple of days and let something rest. It's like you just killed their dog.
Yeah, but doesn't every kid get a scholarship?
Anymore? I think so.
Because that's what happens with a lot of parents. I mean, their kid is going to become a superstar in whatever field of sport that they decide they want to go into, and that's what the push is, to get a scholarship.
Yeah.
And I think people lose sight of the reality of those things, that most kids don't get scholarships, do they?
I don't know the percentage that go on to get scholarships, but there are a few Mike Trouts.
Yeah, there's only a couple. Yeah.
There are a few of those that actually get to that level. Yeah. But I guess, going into college, they want some kind of scholarship money is available. That's fine. Compete. Be competitive. Do that stuff. But don't harm yourself, or understand what's going on with you when you're playing these things. There's nothing wrong with being competitive and trying to get that stuff. But, I mean, what are you sacrificing? At some point, where in the line in the sand is it no longer healthy and actually starts to become a detriment? Yeah. Where's that line that you have to figure out? And because, what you get the glory now of saying, but I was this kind of star in high school or college, but down the years down the road, you can't walk. Yeah. Or you need a knee replacement, or your hip goes, or something. I mean, was it really worth it? I guess.
Well, it surprises me when I talk to some people and they've had joint replacements, and I go, what happened? It just wore out. They don't just wear out.
They don't wear out. And I like when someone says, "Oh, my right knee wore out." Yeah. There's a side, right? Yeah. Well, that's funny. Isn't the other side just the same age as that one?
Yeah, it walks the same
So why did
distance.
One wear away and one didn't?
Well, maybe they walk in a circle.
It's just like, oh, you have arthritis in your neck. Yeah. Well, why? I mean, all the bones in your spine are the same age. Yeah. Why are some arthritic and some aren't? Shouldn't they all have the same wear and tear on them if it was
so.
was just age related? No,
So.
it's trauma related. It's stress related. Etc. It's all these things related.
Yeah, it always surprises me when I hear people say that stuff. I go, okay, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not even going to debate. I'm not even going to debate this with you. But what you said sounds stupid. So, that's just me. What can I do?
But anyway, I guess the bottom line is be aware of the sports season. If they're not evaluated chiropractically, if they're not under care somewhere already, then find someone that you resonate with. And believe me, chiropractors are more than willing and able to help these kids and people in general in sports and in athletics, help be better performance-wise and also protect themselves against potential issues to the neuromusculoskeletal system. So
I think parents have to be cognizant of whether the kids are injured also, because a lot of times a kid won't tell you they hurt.
they won't. They'll just keep playing because they too become competitive and they don't want to. They know the consequences or the potential issues of saying that they're hurt or injured. Yeah, they need to be aware that if something's wrong, they need to voice it up and say, something's wrong.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Because we deal with these young kids as young as 7, 13, whatever. They come in and they'll say, I've had headaches for a year or now.
Yeah.
And sometimes the parents are aware of it. Sometimes the parents have no clue.
Yeah.
And the parent will look over and say, "You never told me that." And they're like, "Well, I just
no big deal."
No big deal. But they have these things. They have these symptoms, and they need to know that don't just ignore the symptoms.
Yeah.
Those are signs and symptoms.
They may not even know their symptoms, though, the kids.
That's true.
Yeah, they may not even know because if it's never been discussed, and some of those sports can be brutal. I like what your point was about the soccer with the heading the ball. I'm sure that there's probably an age limit to that, or a minimum age.
I think there is now. I know when I was younger, I played soccer. When we were kids, we headed the ball, and we were, elementary school, we were heading the ball. I don't know now, like, what the...
Is that why you twitch when you...
Yeah, that's right. That's why the side of my head's flat.
Who's that guy tapping on the shoulder? Yeah, got one of them, huh? No.
Well, you're heading the ball, you're tripped, you're bumped around, you're slide tackled, well, I was the other day. One of the girls, I think it was soccer. I think it was soccer. She was saying that she had to run 3 miles and then do some other kind of conditioning.
Yeah.
I said, "What happened?" She's like, "Well, the JV, she was either on varsity or JV, I can't remember which one. But whatever one, the other one, wasn't listening or behaving right. So everyone had to do it. So say it was the varsity. Say the varsity wasn't doing what they were supposed to do. Well, the JV got punished.
Yeah, okay.
I'm like, why? I mean, what is that? I asked her, I said, did that actually teach you anything or did that just piss you off? She was like, it taught me nothing. It just got me aggravated.
Yeah, that's true.
It doesn't teach the lesson. They just learned to get mad at the people who didn't listen.
I did that when I was involved in that when I was a kid. It just made no sense to me that we all had to do it because somebody was stupid.
Everyone else gets punished.
Yeah, everybody gets punished.
I understand the lesson there because then you're less likely to do something stupid because everyone else will probably hang you up by your underwear in the locker room.
That's right.
Well,
we did that. We did that. And then we got punished too.
Right. So.
We got punished again.
So I guess I understand the everyone gets punished for one person's stupidity,
yeah.
But I mean I don't know if it's really a good lesson anymore.
I don't think it is.
I don't know if it works.
Yeah. Well, I think sometimes what they're trying to build is teamwork, team spirit. You're part of the team. So when one person screws up, everybody gets to be.
Well, they'll say too. I'll in this heat, I'll be like, does anyone ever pass out? Oh yeah, there's people vomiting all over the place, and I'm like, so you're telling me when the coaches see someone vomiting and like sick and ill, like that's not a sign? Like, all right, there's a line here that you're crossing.
Yeah.
Like, do you really think that's just going to give them the competitive edge? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it does give the competitive edge, but I don't know if it does.
My first year in college, I went to Illinois Wesleyan in Bloomington, Illinois. Went out early to play football. It was after I broke my hip. I played football the next year, and the practice was in the summertime, and it started in mid-August, maybe early August. And they used to take us. The Commons was not operating, so they took us to this smorgasbord for breakfast or for lunch and dinner. And when we went for lunch, we had an afternoon practice, and nobody ate anything because of what you said. Everybody was sick. Whatever you put in came out, so you wanted it to be Jello and water. You wanted it to, and we went back in the afternoon, and we had dinner. We were all starving. The guy finally stood at his door and wouldn't let us back in. He said, "You guys can't come here anymore." He said, "I can't afford to have you guys eating your dinners like you haven't eaten in days." And that's what happened. But you're right, because we all, I didn't get sick, but most of the guys got sick after the afternoon practice, because it was hot and the food was laying in your stomach. It was just terrible. It's disgusting. That's my experience.
Yeah. I don't know. I participated in a variety of sports as a kid. But I don't know. It just wasn't as it's seemingly cutthroat and front and center.
Yeah, it's different.
It's different.
It was different.
I can't explain how it's different to some degree, but it's different.
I think the biggest difference is that there's so many parents that are looking to get their kids involved in sports so they get scholarships. And I really believe that.
I think that's a big one. Yeah. Or some of them just think they want their kid to be active, like they need to be active.
Yeah.
Active. You gotta be active. Get out of the house. Get off the smartphone. Get off the computer. Go be active.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, active. You can be active. You don't need to be involved in 45 things.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I mean, active is one thing, but I mean.
Well, I talk with parents, and they have schedules for their kids to go to sports, and and what you said, they're eating in the car. They're eating some kind of fast food in the car between events or between practices or dancing and whatever it might be. It's crazy.
So I have one of my patients was talking to the other day. He just got sucked into coaching, right?
Uh-huh.
Now this guy always comes in and talks about how much stress he's under and how much he has to do. And now he's a coach for soccer. Yeah. And I'm like, why did you? And I was curious. I said, I'm just curious. Why did you take that on? You're always coming in here stressed out. And he's like, well, if I didn't, with all the politics and whatever, there wouldn't be a team for both my girls to be on together and all this other stuff. And I'm like, so and he hurt himself because now he's a coach. He's not used to coaching. Yeah. He was trying to do whatever, and he hurt himself trying to be a coach.
Yeah.
And so he's more stressed out now. Now he's physically doing things that he's not able to handle, and he's just stressed out. Yeah. I'm like, I don't understand. And so he has 3 girls, and his wife takes them to some things. His parents take them to another. He takes them to another, and they're off in so many different directions. I'm like, is it really worth it? Really?
Yeah.
He's like, well, I guess he wants them to be active in all these things. I'm like, what is the point of that?
Yeah.
And they're not getting adjusted. And I said, they're going to be chiropractic nightmares down the road if you don't get them adjusted, because you're the activities they're in. If they're not doing all this stuff, soccer, skiing, skiing, surfing, whatever. I mean, it's just crazy what they're involved in.
Yeah.
And then my dental hygienist, right? I'm talking to her. She has a spreadsheet of the kids' activities.
Oh,
she's got literally a spreadsheet
of
things because they're so jam-packed. I'm like, I don't know. I don't really know if that's necessary. You want to do that? That's fine. I'm not judging.
I don't have a spreadsheet for myself.
I just look at it and I say that might be. I think of it as the health implications of that. That's what I'm looking at. What's suffering? Because something has to be suffering. If you wake up, from the minute you wake up till 11 o'clock at night, if you're go, and you just keep going.
Yeah.
I don't know. There needs to be some kind of
you need to take a breath once.
Or something.
Yeah, that's tragic. Anyway, that's it. Huh?
I'd like to throw in at the end here that with our patients that are under care, especially our pediatric kids, teenagers, they are less likely to injure themselves because they're under care.
Yeah, we don't see
most
that
of our
many
kids
injuries.
don't have injuries.
Yeah, we don't see that many injuries for the kids that are under active care.
Yeah.
They might come in with some a mild discomfort or stiffness.
Yeah.
But as far as injuries or major problems, we don't really see that. The ones that are coming in regularly.
And you attribute that to being adjusted?
A large amount. I mean, because they don't typically all eat well or but the one factor that we see is that they're getting adjusted as
Uh-huh.
opposed to, their teammates.
Well, that
So,
sort of goes
big
along with
factor.
my powers and grounds thing, I guess,
Mhm.
doesn't it? Because if your body isn't communicating correctly, you're going to tend to hurt yourself. You're going to be hurt and not know you're hurt.
Yeah. And go back to the tire alignment analogy, that if the tires of the car are not aligned, it affects the performance of the tire.
Yeah.
The tire wears away unevenly. It can affect the alignment, the ride, the performance of the car.
Yeah.
And that's just from alignment of the tires. So, you're not in alignment body-wise, well, your reactionary time might not be as great. Or, again, when something's out of alignment, it puts stress on the joints.
Yeah.
And those joints can wear away or become problematic or become injured or become predisposed to some other issue down the road.
Bone on bone.
So you have both the functionality of things, the performance end of it, but then you have the powers and grounds with the communication network and your reactionary time and the nervous system response. I was watching a TV show about the neurology of the eye from a baseball player, from a baseball player batting, and his eye watching the pitcher.
Yeah.
The neurology that happens when the arm of the pitcher comes up, what happens in the brain and in the eye of the baseball player as he's getting ready to take a pitch.
Yeah.
It's fascinating, and if that reactionary time, if that connection isn't there, then you're going to be that split second off. It's the difference between a home run and a strikeout, right?
That's why I learned to sail. I couldn't hit the ball. That's the toughest thing you do in sports. All right, we shot the hour there, Doc. Sally, thanks for coming in and doing all the stuff you're doing. Hello.
Thank you.
Warren, thanks for everything you do on the other side. Thanks for listening. Thanks for calling in. Be true to your school.